everybody. Welcome to the first Nobi News for March 2023.
That was whatever. Gonna find a thing.
It's going to be Mobility March, March Mobility Month. I don't know.
Get mobile
Get Mobile
and
March.
March.
Yeah.
And March.
Ooh. Oh, and March. Right.
Get mobile. Marching.
Yeah. So weather starts to get nice again.
Mm.
Go outside. Get mobile by walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
On your mobile
Anyway.
phone.
So we're gonna have a series of videos this month. We're gonna start by overviewing mobility and then go through some mobility tools and exercises that you can do for hips, shoulders, spine, and anything else that we think of. But each week will be a focus on a different part of the body. So to kick it off, we are going to just go over what is mobility, why it's important for us to train it and have good mobility, ways to improve it, and also how often we should train it. So, go for it. What is mobility, Logan?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say our names. It's Coach Abby, Coach Logan.
Yeah, I'm not anybody.
Nope.
What is life?
Y'all know us now.
What is the moment?
Because you subscribe to the channel.
So, this is the introduction video, like Abby was saying, about the mobility that we're going to be putting out for the next month or so. If you are in the local area, mobility seminars will be available for you to participate in if you want more hands-on. Actually meet us and greet us and see our faces. If you haven't already done those, great little thing.
And that's for anybody. Whether you're a member or not. Anyone is welcome to come to those.
And yes, this will become a resource that is for those who are not here or anything else, or you want to have a refresher course and be able to look through and see what we're doing. The video format will be more of, here's a demonstration, pause it if you need to, do the repetition that are required for that movement, and then kick it back up again, and then watch it over as many times as possible. So resource for you to use as you see fit. Maybe, because we're going to figure out how often we should be doing it, ways we're going to be doing it, why it's important, and then if it even applies to you. So mobility. Mobility is the ability to take a joint through its full range of motion. The end. Basically it. So whatever that looks like within a squat, you're able to use your hips, your knees, your ankles, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Generally, everything that you do in life requires everything in your body. So whether your example was picking up dog poop, you have to be able to hinge over properly within that, extend out with your shoulder, be able to counterbalance your body weight, do all these things that require stability as well as flexibility, which if you want to think of it in simple terms, if you're very stable and you're very flexible, then you have overall mobility, as long as that is within the joint. So each specific joint can be different from one another. So,
and you can also be really flexible and not very stable as well.
So mobility is whatever you need it to be. If you just need to reach the top shelf of your dishes to be able to put them away, then you're mobile enough to do that. If you have the stability in the joint and you have the range of motion in the joint to get there, then it's there. If you need to be able to clean and jerk 200 kilos, then the mobility for your shoulders and your stability for your shoulders, all those good things, it's a little bit different than pickle jar at the top.
Be on the lookout for me clean and jerking 200 kilograms.
It's 440 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
No big deal.
Probably start with a deadlift first.
That's
usually how it goes.
Gotta be able to pick it up.
So that kind of goes into why it's important. It's important because it's individually specific. So if you need to, in that instance, be able to just reach the top shelf, that's important for you. That's why improving your mobility and stability in those movements can do it well. Or if you're doing something in sport, then that's why that could be actually important for you as well. But taking yourself through the ranges of motion in life, if you have a dog and you can't reach over to pick up the poop for the dog, then you can be that person that like, sorry guys, there's dog crap everywhere. We have to, at the apartment complexes, we have to send out notes because people don't know how to pick up, and then you just walk and you get dog poop on your shoes, and then you see someone and you just want to like throw your chancla at them. So ways to improve it.
Also,
get dogs and pick up dog poop.
important for you're really on the dog poop kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also really important for preventing injury within.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Yes. That's where I was going with that.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to hurt your back when you're picking up the dog poop.
Right.
Or a case of water, or a baby, or whatever, or a deadlift.
I thought you were going to say like a dead baby. I was like, oh no.
That took a turn.
No.
No,
not that.
This is the negative Nobi news.
Onward.
Welcome.
No, that's what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Any of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is not your average news channel.
Mobility, full range of motion for the joint, what it is, why it's important, preventing injury, or just doing what you need to throughout life to actually have a functional life or sport, ways to improve it. Just like anything, you train it. So if you want to be able to do the thing with the law of specificity, this is a law of specificity.
Specificity. Specificity. Specificity is what you said.
Yes, being specific.
Yeah.
So you train what you're trying to get better at. So in this instance, if you are wanting to become an Olympic lifter, then you have to do the Olympic lifts. If you want to reach the top shelf, well, you either reach the top shelf or you're doing movement patterns that promote reaching the top shelf, like a landmine press or something very
in
specific.
resistance training specifically. Is that what you're talking about?
Getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So doing it within the specific nature that you're trying to get better at it, and then progressing it. So if you're able to progress it by either adding load, adding a little bit more range of motion, or doing more repetition, whatever you need to do, that will improve that range of motion. And then there's many other variabilities, things, the one or variations that promote either range of motion through cars, pails, and rails, or loading the muscle not in a very strenuous 10 out of 10 stretch, but more of like a 7 out of 10 and doing that stuff loaded, which can happen during resistance training on its own as well. But then there are all specific protocols that promote that too.
Yeah, we'll go over specific types of exercises in the demonstration videos because that's a lot to go over, and it is not super helpful if there's not examples. So,
how often?
There was another way that I was thinking of to improve it, but I cannot recall.
You sleep, you recover.
Yeah,
because it's an adaptation.
True.
So you got to make sure to recover from it too.
Yeah. Also,
feeds into how often.
Right, and one of the main things that has to be present whenever you are trying to create range of motion or gain mobility is like you have to activate your nervous system in the process, and so your nervous system has to be active and feel safe in your body and with what you're doing, so that way it can access new range of motion. Like if you're reaching back or you're reaching over your head, your body has to feel safe to be able to reach over your head, and that's not necessarily a muscle thing, it's a neurological thing. So your nervous system has to be able to recover to then keep that range of motion. I'll just keep my hand up here forever. To then, utilize new range of motion and keep it. It's not enough to just stretch the muscle body. You have to activate the nerves and your nervous system in a way that elicits a response, just like getting stronger in resistance training or being able to lift a little bit more weight. Things like that. Your nervous system has to adapt and change in order for that change to happen, which also means that you have to recover well, which also means you can't train it all of the time.
So how often?
Especially to start.
And when to train it?
Yeah.
What would be the first question? How much are you doing right now?
Right.
Adaptation is doing a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You don't want to go full Monty into this thing and just...
I've done it. And then I can't
and
lift,
then you're just sleepy.
And then I'm tired and can't do anything.
So just a little bit more. So if you're figure out, first of all, you have to prioritize what you're trying to improve upon for the range of motion, for your mobility. What you need to prioritize is that stability versus range of motion and flexibility. So some people a little bit more stable than others, some people a little bit more flexible than others. Like a power lifter's generally going to be a lot more stable, these are generalizations, than someone who's a yogi, like very flexible, or dancer. So being able to figure out where you need the stability, if it's in the joint,
Hmm.
well, it's going to be in the joint usually, but or if you need to train that muscle within the range of motions to build in the stability, or if
Hmm.
you just need to take your body through that range of motion to build in the flexibility.
Hmm.
So those are all things that you need to consider as well. Training the range of motion and increasing the range of motion so that actual flexibility
Hmm.
requires more CNS drive
Hmm.
generally.
Hmm.
So that could require less frequency
Yes.
because it's going to be more intense.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing more of what would be considered stability,
Mhm.
that could take place as a form of resistance training or
Mhm.
very specific isolation movements to improve the joint itself.
Mhm.
So for hips, doing adductions and abductions to just either work out the adductors and abductors,
Mhm.
core stability, bracing the spine, learning how to do a dead bug, learning how
Building
to
safety
breathe.
around all the joints,
Right.
basically.
So building in that actual stability that you can brace properly
Mhm.
in whatever movement you're trying to do.
Right.
It's
And
not,
with a load that's like appropriate, if any.
yeah, it's not
So.
just like being able to dive bomb a squat. Dive
Mhm.
bomb is just going as fast as possible,
Yeah.
and then your butt hits your heels, and then you kind of rebound out of it. It's being able to control it for 5-6 seconds with your
Mhm.
body weight on your back.
Mhm.
It's more of a tail sign of mobility,
Yeah.
stability, and flexibility.
Yep.
So, how often to train it? More than you're doing now,
Mhm.
but not too much.
Yeah.
So, prioritizing if it is flexibility, then probably once per week to start is going to be enough. You'll be able
Mhm.
to get a feedback and understand it. And then prioritizing what you're trying to really work on. If it's your hips, if it's your
Right.
back, if it's your shoulders, you pick that one thing. You can't do it all at once. So you figure out one thing
Right.
and start with one day.
Mhm.
If it's training the stability aspect, you can basically do that towards the back half of your workout. If you
Mhm.
wanted to just kind of not worry about those muscles fatiguing, but if you're trying to prioritize those muscles and getting them the best nervous system recruitment, everything that can be optimized for prioritizing that muscle to get more stable, then you would
Mhm.
do that first
Mhm.
within your workout or on its own separate day.
Mhm. Um, there was something else I had to say, but alas.
So let us know if you have any
Oh,
questions. Okay. Go ahead.
if you have like a really hip heavy or a lower body heavy workout day, don't also do too much lower body mobility, especially the flexibility type of training. That will just be more strenuous on your hips and your lower body. Maybe some really light work to warm up, something like that, just to kind of get your body primed and ready to go, but it's not really trying to access new range motion or end range motion. So just be careful of it's like doing an extra workout on top of what you've already done. So try to pick things that complement each other
Yep.
rather than are the same things.
Yep.
So like don't mobilize your hamstrings on a deadlift day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're really, really strong.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah. There's certainly time and place where it'll be fine, but
yeah.
if you're doing it for the first time ever,
You don't want to max out your deadlift after doing like a 3 minute stretch and then some type of like P&F. But right. But yeah, it doesn't make sense.
yeah. Because then you're trying to access
Correct.
new range of motion with a maximal effort that you've never trained before and puts you at risk of injury or poor recovery. So, I think that's it.
Yep.
This is the second rendition of Nobi News written on the board. I have to say, I think I did a little bit better of a job. I'm looking forward to round 3. So,
I'll put this will be a voiceover of the time lapse, so people will
oh
be able
yeah.
to see this at this point in time. I don't know how long it's going to take to go through, but everyone will be able to get see that and see how long it took you and how many times you erased it, all that good stuff. So,
Yeah, perfect.
oh.
Yeah.
All right, let us know if you have any questions, and then as the videos start to come out, definitely ask questions there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Comments, send us messages, whatever works.
See you at mobility.
Mm-hmm. Hips, I think, is first.
Get to margin.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.